Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 27th of June 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this last Monday of this June, guys. So yep, welcome everyone. Before we jump into the charts, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFDbrokers.com website, which you can check out for more information about us. So yep, guys, feel free to visit us here on JFDbrokers.com and click on the, well, actually just click on anywhere. You can, like I said, check out the information there. Anyway, jumping into the charts, guys. The first one I'm going to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So yep, beautiful move to the upside. There we go. Beautiful push above this 26,463 territory. I spoke about that area last week. So, and I said that my next target is the 26,947, 48 level right here. So we managed to reach that. So that's good result. And if you remember, also I said that, well, let's wait and see if this is not going to end up being somewhat of a range here. Well, so far it seems like, yep, that could be the case. But in order to get, let's say, comfortable for me with, let's say, with this idea, I would first of all, I would like to see a push now above this 26,948 level, or we can round it up here a little bit towards the 50. So 26,950, we push through it, then yes, we'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. We could then aim for that 100-day EMA, the 200-day EMA, or even actually this level has to be adjusted now. Or we can aim for this inside swing low near the 27,524 level. So let's keep an eye on that one. In terms of the downside, well, again, a break through the lower side of the potential range, or just in general, let's say at the moment, this highlighted territory, if we drop below it, then yes, there is a chance for Nikkei to move lower. Let's jump into Shanghai Composite, guys. Look at this. I mean, boom, there we go. We had a nice little push here through this barrier. Probably today's positivity came in from the U.S. markets on Friday because, well, those managed to gain quite significantly, I would say. Yeah, we had a kind of a continuation move here to the upside in general on Shanghai Composite, and most importantly that we overcame this barrier, this 3,357 territory. I spoke about that last week, and I said that in order for me to get comfortable with further advances, I need to see a nice good move above it. And well, at the moment we're seeing that, yes, it's a good move, and above that barrier we're still trading above this upside line. So in a way, as long as the price remains above all that, then yes, I will continue aiming to the upside. Hong Kong's Hang Seng, guys, look at this, probably the best performer from the Asian top Asian indices, and well, we've moved nicely. I haven't looked at this one for quite a while. As you can see, my kind of level here has shifted a little bit. bit, and the arrow has shifted, so I think it needs to be adjusted a little bit. One thing for sure I'm still keeping an eye on are these two trend lines. Tentative, of course, but nevertheless a still good trend lines. Now, I think the first thing has to be adjusted here is this. So we managed to clear this 21,565 territory. Okay, so that's good news. Then we rebounded from this 20,697 territory. Okay, now the question is, can we see a hold up near this medium-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 28th of June? Well, at the moment, I would say yes, we are approaching this area. It's going to be very interesting. If we break through it and stay above it, then yes, wonderful. I mean, more buyers could join in. We could then aim for that 200-day EMA or even above that. But at the moment, it's an interesting one right now. Like I said, from the technical side, in general, we are still kind of stuck in between the two trend lines. So we're kind of coiling up, I would say. So yeah, this let's not disregard this. This downside line yet, because again, although it's tentative, still it could provide a hold up. So yeah, at the moment I'm keeping an eye on that one. If we break through it and stay above this 22,524 level marked by the highest point of April, then yes, more buyers could join in. For the downside, let's say at least in the near term, this is where the tricky bit comes in. I mean, of course, we could try and draw some upside lines here, for example, like this one. A nice good break below it may attract, a few more sellers into the game. So let's keep an eye on that one. Now then, jumping into the German index, DAX. There we go, guys. I mean, beautiful reversal on Friday. Good push higher. Found resistance just like near this highlighted territory I spoke about previously, this area between the 13,150 and the 200 levels. Now, in terms of the what happened further, because I mean the U.S. markets were rallying on Friday, so it kind of gave a bit of a boost to the German index as well, to the futures market. But yeah, the cash index actually is currently sitting at around 200 level, so the 13,200. So it's basically in this highlighted zone here now. The good question here is, of course, can it be pushed a little bit higher here? Well, I would say this way, that in order for me to go for some higher levels, I would actually prefer to wait for a push above this 13,444 level right here, marked by the inside, not the inside, but the high of the 21st of June. All this area, yes, could be an attractive one. So if, let's say, yeah, we push above this 13,200 level, there is still hope that, yeah, we could see maybe a move higher. The only problem I have with that idea is that, for example, if let's say this downside line provides somehow resistance, I mean this, yeah, could be something to watch. So I would say if we break the downside line, then yeah, of course more buyers could join in, but still there we would have this obstacle. So that's why I'm still just sticking straight away to this 13,444 level, and just to be a little bit more on the safe side. In case the index starts moving lower, I will keep an eye on the current lowest point of June near the 12,912 territory. A nice good drop below it will confirm a forthcoming lower low and may attract more sellers into the game. Nasdaq, so Nasdaq 100, beautiful move to the upside on Friday. Look at this. I mean, the market is talking about the kind of the whole fear of rate hikes has eased off a little bit. To be honest, I mean, the problem didn't go away anywhere, and still central banks across the world are right now in this mode, right now in the rate hiking mode. I think this is just a bit of a breath of fresh air for the market to so they wouldn't just totally collapse. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing this nice reversal right now. So in general, from the technical side, looking at this Nasdaq 100, I mean, we can see that the index is currently, let's say, well, near this downside line. And just let me double check the cash index, what's happening there right now. I think, okay, so we're currently sitting at around 12,116.17 levels, so basically above Friday's close, but still below this downside line. We're basically near this downside line, so this is going to be very interesting to watch today. What's going to happen here, if we can break this downside line or not. This is the moment where probably I will stick to the downside line as a good gauge. So if we break through it, if we stay above the downside line, then yes, I'll aim for the highest point of June, the current highest point of June, near the 12,898 level, and then we will just, of course, take it from there. For now, like I said, there is still a chance for the sellers to step in. Let's say if this downside line continues to hold, yep, a nice good drift lower could be possible. But then I will probably stick to this little hurdle right here, this 11,751 zone. So if we drop somehow back below it, then yes, I will aim for the downside. But of course, one thing that I need to mention as well, I mean, and this happens very often, false breakouts. I mean, I keep talking about those guys. I mean, so here, for example, don't be surprised, let's say, if we do push strongly above this downside line, but by the end of the trading session, we still drift back down. So, these things happen, so unfortunately, we need to take them into consideration, but at the moment, yes, like I said, guys, all eyes are in this downside line. Dow Jones Industrial Average, similar story, beautiful rally. Look at this. I mean, I said that if we pop above the 31,000 territory right here and stay above it, then yes, we'll go higher. At the moment, I'm also trying to aim here for this downside line. Now, can we go all the way towards that? Well, let's again. This is a bit of a tricky question. Nobody knows. I would say it this way. I mean, we can only try to position ourselves correctly, and if something doesn't work out, we can at least have our stop losses adjusted so that it wouldn't take us out. So at the moment, I would say I'm leaning more towards the upside for the near term, only up until this downside line. If it holds, yes, another decline like this could be possible. So in a way, this arrow here could be the one to keep an eye on. So something. Apologies for maybe the ugliness of the chart here of the arrows, but yeah, something like this could be possible, basically. Still, however, of course, if the downside line gets broken, then certainly this could open up the door towards higher levels here, and we could then aim for that highest point of June here near the 33,272 level, and then so on and so on. But at the moment, yeah, it's this way here. We're leaning towards the upside, but again, we do have a bunch of obstacles on the way higher. DXY, the dollar index, guys, looking at this one, it's still basically stuck a little bit, so it's not really doing much. The only thing is that what it's doing is respecting the downside line here, taken from the high of the 15th of June. So what's next? We could see a drift lower, of course, if the downside line continues to hold. Then yes, we could see a drift lower, but in this situation, I said before, and I'll say it again, I am waiting for a drop below this 103.85 territory, somewhere around here. At the same time, we could drop below the 21-day EMA, and well, we could see a move towards this upside line taken from the low, the 10th of February. This is, like I said, again, it's also this instrument, this index could also be seen as coiling up, but again, let's not go way too far into the future. Let's go from what we have right now. Again, like I said, at the moment there is a chance for this one to drift lower, but a break through this barrier, this hurdle is needed. For the upside, I still need to see a push above that 105 territory. I need to see the index staying above that area in order for me to get excited with higher levels. Gold. Okay, gold is a bit of a mess, I would say. On Friday, sorry, I want to say yesterday. On Friday, I did redraw this. I mean, this is a bit of a Now I need to adjust this as well, because basically, if you remember on Friday, what I talked about here was that I said that yes, there is a chance for this one to drift lower, but don't exclude an option where we could see, you know, a drift back up, because the weekly candle could form something of a doji, and initially it was doing that, because after the my Friday's morning video, we saw the commodity traveling higher. It traveled higher. It moved nicely here. It kind of formed that weekly did the doji on the weekly candle, and but then it kind of sold off, and but then got picked up by the bulls again. So basically, we drifted below this 1823 territory I spoke about previously. We drifted below it. We fell below it. This is probably where a lot of traders, a lot of sellers started coming in. But there we go. That's why I always tell you, keep your stop loss in place. And we drifted back above it and stayed above this area. So basically, now you would be in a bit of a loss if you entered the sell here and didn't have your stop loss in place. So that's why I always say that, stress that out, guys. Always protect yourselves. Now, certain adjustments have to be made here as well. Again, this has to go, I think, and basically, I think this 1823 territory got violated a few times, so now probably I'll stick to the not this one, but the low of Friday, the low of last week, basically near the 1817 territory. If we want to go to the downside, I would like to see a drop below that hurdle. If we get a drop below that hurdle, then yes, I will aim lower. Initially, of course, towards this 1807 territory, because it did provide strong support recently in kind of mid-July. But now we're seeing a push higher, but again, we're seeing a hold up near the 21-day EMA. So basically, it's not really ideal or picture perfect here. So if you do like to trade such situations, okay, you can do it, guys, but definitely have your stop loss in place, guys. I mean, this is just, like I said, in the moment, this is not very attractive. I mean, you could start drawing some downside lines here. I mean, okay, so this is somehow kind of working out. Maybe this is just a coincidence again as well. It's like I said, it's just very tentative and very subjective. So you could keep an eye on this little downside line, just let's say for the short run. So if we push through it, we push through that 21-day EMA, which is currently around that 1840 level, and if we do break above this, then maybe this could open the door to its higher levels. But again, we have the 200-day EMA, we have some other levels here. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky here, I would say. If you're looking for some maybe clarity, okay, for the upside, we can keep an eye on this downside line for now, but again, once it's broken, we need to just remove it in order not to overcomplicate our lives here. But for the downside, a drop below this 1817 territory, that's what I need in order to get a little bit more excited with the downside. WTI oil, guys. Okay, okay, beautiful reversal here to the upside. Managed to climb back above the this 100-day EMA. I talked about this commodity last week, and I said that if we stay below this area, below the 100-day EMA and below this 105 territory, then yes, another decline could be possible. We jumped above it. We didn't stay below it. We jumped above it, and we traveled higher, but we found resistance near the crossroads of these two trend lines. So this medium-term upside line taken from the low of the 2nd of December, and this downside line taken from the high of the 14th of June. So in other words, if we are looking for some higher levels, and we need to see a push through the through above both of the these trend lines. So if we climb back above both of these trend lines, then yes, this could increase the chances for the bulls to step in here. Now, in terms of this level has to go, I think that I will mark this one instead, this 108.33, because this is exactly where we're currently getting a hold up. So this low of the 17th of June is actually acting as a strong area of resistance for now. So yeah, okay. So but even though, guys, still doesn't matter. I mean, still for me, I need to see a push back above these these two trend lines. Now, in terms of the downside, again, if we drop back below this 105 territory, below this 100-day EMA, yes, I will get a little bit more excited with the downside. Ethereum very quickly on down one. So beautiful test of this downside line. Look at this, perfect. I have drawn this one a while ago, but yeah, and I mentioned this, that after we've rebounded from that 880 zone, I said that my next target is the downside line or this 21-day EMA. The downside line got tested. Now, can we see a drift to the downside? Well, in order for me to, let's say, get comfortable with that idea, I would like to see it drop somewhere below this 10,043 territory, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. In terms of the upside, now I would like to see maybe a push above this barrier, the I think the Sunday's high, yep, near the 1,282 level, so a nice good pop above it may attract more buyers into the game, guys. Aud Jpy. So jumping into a few pairs. This one is still forming that potential idea of descending triangle pattern, which I've discussed last week. Okay, so yep, we are kind of respecting so far the lower side of the this potential pattern. Okay, it seems to be forming nicely, this triangle formation. Okay, nothing else to add, to be honest, here, apart from the fact that basically we are just waiting for this one to break out either way here, and then yeah, we could consider the next kind of short-term directional move, and then yeah, we'll just take it from there. Pretty straightforward, to be honest, guys. Aud Usd. This one is a little bit more tricky because we are stuck in between these two tentative lines, these two tentative trend lines, and in a way it's kind of coiling up. I don't like when it's something like this, but that's the reason why I'm just observing the price action. I'm not really touching this one, so yeah, nothing else to add here, but I will, like I said, I will wait on this one, and although it's not maybe perfect, but hey, I'd rather be safe than sorry. USD Cad, this one I haven't mentioned for quite a while, but yep, looking at this picture here, we had a beautiful rebound from this area in the beginning of June here, from this upside line taken from the low of the 1st of June. We had a good move, yes, and yep. We traveled higher, we found strong resistance near the highest point of May. Maybe we overshot it by a little bit, but hey, that's okay. I mean, look, by just judging by this little overshoot here near the 1.3077 zone, and then we drifted back down. Now, for this here is just begging to see what the Fibonacci retracement was here, and we can see straight away here, first of all, of course, yes, the 23.6 was kind of ignored, I would say, a little bit, but the 38.2 was kind of okay. I mean, you can see that, yeah, we had a, you know, we see these nice holdups here, so. And this is one of the why I have the arrow here drawn from you know, from that 38.2. So if we're looking for some lower levels, then yes, a drop below this hurdle is needed. Below this 1.2861 zone here, if we drop below it, we may also drop below the 21-day EMA, and potentially more sellers could join in. I'm not saying that I would become, let's say, very bearish. No, because initially probably I'm being very aggressive here with this downside arrow. Initially, I would just aim for that 50% retracement on the which is around the 1.2798 level. So if you're looking for some higher levels, then basically at least a move back above the 1.3017 level right here could be a case. However, ideally, as you can see by the arrow, by the little tail here of the arrow, that still I would prefer to wait for a push above this 1.3077 territory in order to get comfortable with the upside. But like I said, I'll start looking at higher levels already on a push above the 1.3017. USD CHF, very quickly on that one. So, okay, I want to say that it worked out. if you remember, in the beginning of June, sorry. In the beginning of June, I talked about this idea. I said that, well, let's see if this is not going to end up being something of a possible double top. And, well, at the moment, I would say half of this idea is working out nicely. The reason why I'm saying there's half of this idea is because something that I mentioned last week to you, that maybe, just maybe, this could end up being a range. Because basically, if, well, actually, first of all, get rid of this upside line. If this is going to end up being as a range, yes, nice move to the upside could be possible here. However, I'm going to stick to the 0.9764 level right here, the one that I mentioned before. I need to see a nice good pop above it in order to go for the upside towards that potential idea of a seeing this as a range and aiming for that upper side of the range. Anyway, I think I'm going in circles here a little bit, but basically, if we drop below this hurdle here, the 0.9545 level, not like this, but if we stay below it, because this is a false breakout, this doesn't really work well for us. But if we drop again and stay below this, and we stay below that 100-day EMA, well, guys, again, like I said, this is where my idea of a double top pattern could work out. But again, like I said, I'm quite excited about this one. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on DXY and what's happening there. The Swiss franc right now is somewhat on the stronger side, or I would say has been on the stronger side for the past kind of 2 weeks. Maybe we could see a bit of a rebound, just to kind of give some breathing space for the traders here, for the bulls. But again, like I said, the market is sometimes very unforgivable, and that's why the slide might continue if we drop and stay below the 0.9545 level, and then I'm going to aim for that 200-day EMA. GBP CAD. Okay, the idea of a bullish flag, it's not dead yet, but it's still in the works, I would say, because last week I was talking about this idea of a possible bullish flag, and it was kind of working out. But hey, if you remember, I talked about still I need to see a break of this downside line, and not only that, I needed to see a push above that 1.6008 level right there. So basically, yeah, it's still here. We're still not there, basically. So that's why. That's the reason why I keep on saying and wait for that confirmation break, because we got a hold up near this downside line. Look at this, a strong hold up on Friday here, and boom, we drifted back down. We drifted lower. However, I'm not saying that I'm getting very bearish, because for me the bearish scenario could come in somewhere from around here. From around the 1.5729 level here, marked by the near the inside swing highs of the 14th and the 15th of June. So if we drop below it, then yeah, we will consider maybe a further move south towards the current lowest point of June. GBP, JPY, very quickly on this one. This one's a little bit better. This one's a little bit more attractive for the bulls, I would say. However, we're very close still to this upside line. So yes, we're holding above it, but we're still struggling with with this upside line to break it, and that's why I'm gonna like I say, continue remaining cautiously bullish. However, if you're looking for some higher levels, a push at least above the 167.85 level is required. Oh, guys, I need to jump off. Oh, basically, okay, let me go through this because I think I'm running out of time here. I already ran out of time, but anyway. EURUSD, just a quick update. Still, if you saw my videos last week, guys, I mean, I'm still waiting for, a pop, or I would like to see the pair staying above this area, above the 1.6842 zone. If we stay above it, then yes, I'll go for higher levels. If we break this upside line, then yes, there is a chance to see a drift to the downside. Euro JPY, this one's also quite interesting, still kind of hanging above this upside line, but struggling with this barrier still. So in order for me to get excited with the upside, a push above this 144.25 level is required. So basically, as long as the pair stays somewhere in here, I'm just observing it. And finally, EURUSD, boring, very boring at the moment, but hey, maybe with it's building up for something big here, maybe we'll get that nice good breakout, but at the moment I'm still sticking to this 1.0636 level here for the upside. For the downside, I need to see a drop at least below the 1.0460, and then we'll just take it from there. So guys, apologies for kind of rushing through the last kind of 4 pairs very quickly, but hey, I'm running out of time here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, you guys, your comments in general, for everything. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.